Well, hello, it's been a long time since we've done some Graviteam Tactics Mius Front, and today we're playing their newest DLC, Edge of Storm. It's over here in Krasnaya Polania as well as Ruyabino, and what this essentially allows us to do is play as the retreating Soviets during 1941. You can of course play as the Germans chasing them, but I think it's way more of a challenge to try and actually play as the Soviets here and get a victory. I'm going to be trying to play as the 169 Royal Division, RD, Regiment Division, not sure. Somebody else could tell us in the comments. Revolutionary Division, probably not. And we are going to see how long we can stand against the Germans. I really want to see the sort of Soviet perspective here, so let's make it happen. I think I'm going to fall back heavy with that infantry unit and just hope for the best. Let's end the turn and see what happens. And of course, they're going to attack that infantry unit. All right, well, let's see how we do. So what I'm doing here is trying to spread our boys out. Like I said, it's just one group of infantry here. We don't have anything in terms of an anti-tank weapon, nothing like that. So I've put a bunch of my guys over here near the road. It looks to be pretty well covered. I'll put some men here too. And I'm just spreading these trenches out. If the Germans are going to take this area, hopefully they're going to have to work for it. If they have tanks, they're not going to have to work too much. Just as a defensive measure, I'm actually going to put one trench in front of the mortar. As well as Thompson. I'm going to put him behind, no, slightly in front of the mortar as well, sorry. Right there. Let's get started and see what they've got. Oh my goodness, we've got our trench line set up. It begins 1941, of course. The Germans are upon us, guys, and at this point, we're just waiting for them. You only have half of your anti-tank weapons and half of your tanks during this fight. So in this fight, where we just have infantry, this is pretty typical. Behind the lines, we've got additional armor, but we just need to put a stop to the Germans here. Our whole job as the Soviets right now is to damage the German army a bunch so that once they actually hit our main forces, they're going to be greatly weakened. I'm hoping that's the case, so we can at least put a craw in their infantry reserves. Now, this is the only unit that didn't actually get into the trench. Neither did this one. I'm almost tempted to move him up here. But I think what I'll do is I'll withdraw him back here and set up. As always in these battles, guys, we will return when the combat begins. Let's hope that our boys knock the enemy out in this one. Trying to soften up the hill here, of course. They think we're here. They thought we were actually right there beforehand. So let's just let this go. Let's let them fire away. This is great. They're going to think they've completely leveled us here, when in fact we've got our entire group right here. So I'm hoping this really allows us to get some nice shots on the enemy. Some nice counterattacks maybe. We'll see. I think counterattacks are going to be a bit difficult, but we can at least knock a bunch of them down. I really hope they start coming down this road. We are ready for them. It begins, guys, and let me tell you, they bombarded us 4 or 5 times. I only showed you one of the attacks, but they tried to knock this unit out under any circumstances. So at this point, we are prepared. They are breaking the hill line there, and we want to make sure to just kill as many infantry here as we can. Knock down their infantry. If they send in tanks, we're going to be in trouble, but for now, we can certainly keep up the fight and make sure that they don't take this trench line. Again, these are fresh German troops. Keep that in mind. This is still 1941. It is October of 1941, so we're getting later into the year, but nonetheless, this is, of course, for the most part, some pretty fresh German troops, or at least German troops that haven't faced much combat, that we are fighting. So they're not expecting us to have a Soviet line prepared for them here in the Edge of the Storm. I can understand now why this DLC is called Edge of the Storm, because this is the very rim of the actual Red Army itself. At the center, we do have a few tanks, a few anti-tank guns, etc. But we've got to be able to hold the enemy with our infantry if we want to be able to win this campaign. It's just that simple. And if you're going to get this campaign, keep in mind, don't just retreat. Actually fight the battles. Actually try to knock down their infantry units before you do anything. At this point, we're going to force them to attack our trench. They have no choice. If they want to get to the crossroads, they have to cross us. Let's see if they're finally targeting that artillery properly. They've been poorly targeting the entire time, and this time they are finally targeting it on top of us. I think they've had enough of our shenanigans. I'm also going to turn these guys this way. Excuse me. And Kachanov as well. We're going to turn that way. Let's see how these guys got hit. Oh boy. You guys will be okay. Just tend to your wounds and get back to the fight. Yeah, the Germans are not playing around. Front line is still doing okay, though. The trench is here. We're holding out just fine. See if we can see any Germans yet. Yep, quite a few of them. You try to get into the motherland, this is what happens. Look at that. Just a good old string, just pretty much a little infantry squad there. Plenty more on the way, and I hope that our mortar is actually sighting that. Could be that he's just a little too far and we're unable to sight. We're going to try to sight the mortar right on them. Come on, boys.
Вижу противника.
Make sure there's none in front of us. I think we're okay. And the mortar seems pretty disinterested in engaging here. No problem. At least this second group seems to be getting back to the trench after getting just shot out by the artillery. Oh, we got more. We got more. My goodness, right on top of our men there. That is going to hurt for sure. Oh, going for the front line, of course. They really want to kick us out of here. What's amazing is they haven't sent any panzers forward yet. But of course, those artillery shots alone have done a tremendous amount of damage. I want to see a larger group of Germans here. I am seeing more appearing. And you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking we should take those units that are not in cover, like these. And we are going to fast move. We're going to attack over here, but the only reason I'm using an attack is because we'll be in single file, moving towards the location. Do the same with Kushkov here. With him, I'll try a fast move. We'll see if there's a difference. And we're going to try to put them into the trenches that were just hit pretty badly by artillery fire. The men seem to be doing okay, though, in these trenches. Look at that. Firing the DPSHK by kneeling. This guy is a boss. Look at that, man. I don't know if you guys agree, and do let me know in the comments down below, but I often like playing these infantry fights. Yes, of course, I like my tanks, I like my artillery, etc. But sometimes it's fun to just try to, you know, hold out against impossible odds. That's the situation with this battle, of course. 1941, the Germans have everything. They've got plenty of ammunition, plenty of men, plenty of morale, and of course, it's just pretty much us holding on against Goliath. But so far, the boys are doing fine, and the guys over there in those trenches haven't faced any combat whatsoever. It looks like this center trench is starting to return fire as well. That's wonderful to see. And hopefully this is sufficient to keep the enemy off our back and away from the hill area. We haven't actually moved anyone to that hill area because I haven't seen much of a need to. Maybe things will change. Starting to see a few more Germans arriving. Let's see how our reinforcements, our replacements are doing. And look at that. Moving towards the battlefield. Beautiful, boys. Go, go, go. If we want it to be extra difficult, we could also move to the hill with these guys. That would make the enemy focus, but I'd rather, again, lure the enemy towards our front line. That's the best thing right now. That mortar's still not out in range, but it looks like the commander is trying to get a visual on the enemy there. It's going to be tough to do without binoculars in your hand, Commander. He's just kind of shielding the eyes from his face. Binoculars were a luxurious commodity in 1941. What can I say? Let's take a look over here at the German line, see how things are going for them. Not good. Not very good. I think they're finally starting to regret their push through Russia. Some of these guys are falling back. Have they begun engaging? Let me see. No? Here's what I'm going to try to do, is just right-click here and take defenses in that area so they know to go straight to the trench and set up. I love that we made the Germans waste so much artillery, just a tremendous amount of artillery dropping rounds on us here. So that's obviously going to cost the Wehrmacht a lot of money. But more importantly, it did not break the trench. They still need to push the trench with their men if they want to break through. And it looks like potentially, if we have good luck here, they did not bring tanks in this attack. In other words, this was potentially just an infantry assault with artillery support. And they may have underestimated us a bit. At least I hope that's what's happening, of course. Look, more appearing on the left there. Eyes open, boys. Eyes open. Eyes open, boys. As the sun is beginning to go down, they are getting a little bit nervous. I'm not sure if... They don't seem to be running low on rounds, but... The Germans could be trying something, different here for all we know. They've got a nice little machine gunner there. They probably have an additional squad here. But as long as they don't take the hill or the crossroads, we have accomplished our main task here. Our main goal during this battle, which is just to hold them off from this position. And there we go. Our replacements are arriving. Wonderful. Get into the trench. If I didn't call this after the game's DLC, I would have just called this video The Trench, because that's what's going on here. We are holding a single trench line. Вижу противника.
Занять позиции! Проверить оружие!
And SVT is putting in some work. And there we go. Finally, we got the mortar firing. They finally caught onto the target, it looks like. Decided to unleash some mortar rounds there. Although it's going to be few and far between because, as far as I can tell, the enemy, that's all they've pushed so far is just a couple squads. Unless they decide to do an overwhelming assault here, we should be okay. Let the sun fall and give us our battle.
Вижу противника! Не высовываться! Занять позицию противника! Немцы! Иду! Проверить оружие! Вижу противника!
Okay, that little smoke cloud could mean an entire division moving forward. We'll have to wait and see. I might go ahead and edit these parts out, just because they just continue to essentially throw these squads at us. We can hold them. We're waiting for the main squad. And once again, why did you guys decide to go back? Stay there. Alright, boys, we shall return. Oh, it begins again. It begins again. They're not going to let us rest. They are not going to let us rest. They couldn't break through the first time, so now they're trying to drop some additional rounds on top of us. And I'm also starting to see a few more enemy infantry units rise up there. You can see that almost all of the men in this area have been knocked down. We do have this squad here. And this is going to be the last line, at least on this side, against the German push. Come on, boys. Yeah, they seem to be spreading out their forces here. They could be going for the hill. In fact, I'm almost certain they're going for the hill. Yes, quite a few more appearing here. Let's make sure everybody is turned this way towards the enemy. We finally saw an officer. That's the first officer we've spotted here. So let's hope that we can just continue firing. Keep it up, boys. Keep it up. We may have lost one line, but plenty of men remain here. It looks like that unit, instead of going over to the trench where I told them, they dropped right into this trench with these guys. So we just have a massive clump here in this trench. Yeah, they're definitely going for the hill area.
Иду. Занять позиции. Приготовиться. Иду.
I don't know what that guy just did, but he tried to do a high dive into a trench. There we go. Good shooting, good shooting. Come on, get the officer. Get the officer, boys. You know what? Now we might actually need to push those units on the right up to try and hold the hill over there. Yep. We're going to do a counterattack with these units. Come on, boys. Out of the trench. Go for it. It's the last thing the Germans are expecting.
Проверить оружие.
Is a good old-fashioned attack on their lines.
Занять позиции. Вижу противника. Иду. Иду. Занять позиции.
For victory, brothers. Alright, we're starting to get some pretty nice hits over there with the mortars. Just saw one explode right there. I hope we can keep that going. Come on, son. Come on, son. There we go. Another one. We're dropping it right on top of the officer there, but they're awfully close to Hill 190. So we are, of course, sending that infantry unit forward. Let's see where they are now. They're getting there. You can see them spread out here for a proper attack. At the very least, they will start engaging the enemy pretty soon. But I don't want them taking Hill 190. The whole reason I put the trench right here is because I wanted to protect the crossroads and Hill 190, and I knew this would give me that opportunity. There we go. There we go. Also, night is coming, and it looks like some pretty nice hits from our machine gunners there. It looks like these guys are taking cover, so they have definitely seen the enemy, and will probably start engaging as they spot them at distance. But hopefully that's all the Germans have for us. Maybe we'll get a ceasefire offer here pretty soon. Because if that's all they've got, I don't think they're going to be able to win this one. See that officer still? Unless that's a new officer. Yes, baby. Call in those mortars. It's time for us to use the enemy's artillery against them. And plenty of them have been hit by rounds, arty, etc. Let's see if the arty hit the officer there. I don't think so. He could be wounded. That was very close to where he is right now, but at least these mortar rounds are hitting close. We just have a single mortar during this fight, and yet it's doing all the work, so huge respect to the mortar crew during this battle. Alright, back on their feet, moving towards that target. Even if we don't have a trench there, I'd love to just set up a defensive position there on the hill.
Вижу противника. Проверь оружие. Вижу противника.
Little mini counterattack of sorts. I could have probably brought another unit here. This guy. But this is just assuming that they don't attack us on the right side. So I'm making a lot of assumptions. That's not necessarily a good thing.
Вижу противника.
Oh, I hear arty. I hear arty. I think that was ours, though. I think that was ours. Thank goodness. Definitely heard some artillery, but that was outgoing. That's what I'm talking about. There we go. A three-pronged attack. I'm just going to be curious to see what the final tally in this battle is. We don't know exactly how many of the enemy we've hit at distance. Of course, most of them have fallen just outside this Hill 190 area due to all the gunfire coming from our boys here. But I'm wondering how many of them we actually hit and killed. I'm guessing since they're closer to their line, most of them were able to get treatment in time. Except, of course, unless they got hit in the vitals, stomach, chest area, etc. You got more of a problem. But we're still seeing those smoke grenades pop up here, which could suggest that we've got another enemy group about to attack us. But we'll be at least somewhat prepared with our infantry units moving over here to the hill. So I'm going to get this one just to go ahead and straight up attack. I'm actually going to take one of them from here. This one. And I am going to move up over here as well. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, nice. So we retook the key point. I know we had retaken it before, but I wasn't even aware the enemy took it the first time. Nonetheless, it's good to see it back under our control. Under Soviet control. The Germans shall not push past this area. This is where we stop them. I hope, anyway. Could have some Germans waiting for us. Could be an ambush. Who knows? There's only one way to find out. And what do you know, guys? Just as we got to the hill, an enemy group appeared on the right side there. We completely ambushed the hell out of them. We've been trying to edit that part out, and look at that. Perfect 3-hit combo there. Looks like they are breaking on that right side. So, I'm glad we brought these infantry up here. Not what they expected. Again, they expected us to be at the trench. So pushing up actually got us some easy kills. Alright, they are returning fire, of course. One of our boys finally getting hit. That's a German. Alright, boys. They just refuse to stop attacking here. They have not accepted surrender yet. Or a ceasefire, even. I'd be fine with a ceasefire. There we go. Additional infantry. We spread this out, as you guys can see. I actually had seen some enemy activity over here, so I sent some of the guys out this way. And now we've got a nice little line here. It's not a trench line, but a nice little defensive line nonetheless. We can see clear across this steppe, so this should be an advantage for us. Oh, you see there? You see there? Several other locations popping up. Some gunshots over there. Some gunshots over here. It looks like this infantry unit is pulling back. But as long as we can hold the hill, I will be a happy camper. Might as well bring this guy up as well. They look pretty confident in victory, I have to say. Lots of dead Germans around them. Hopefully this is as far as the enemy pushes. There we go, some additional replacements for Hill 190. And now we're just waiting for contacts. And there we go, the enemy is offering us a ceasefire. I would be crazy not to take it considering the locations we hold, guys. We're going to grab it. Again, a very basic battle. This one just on the edge of the storm itself. Just an enemy infantry assault. Next time, they could try something crazier. And as you can see there, only 2 killed on our side, 8 killed on the enemy side, but about 20 wounded. Very, very minor little battle there that you can expect on the outskirts of the storm. If you guys want to see a battle in the storm and you made it this far, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Take care. I'll catch you on the next one.